A warm welcome to the fifth web-based lecture series in the Center for Geographical Studies, AKU Campus, Patna. Good afternoon, Director Professor Atul Aditya Pandey, Speaker of the Day, scholars, and all invitees present here. First of all, I would like to say about our Director, Professor Purnima Sekhar Singh. She is a renowned academician and researcher in the field of geography. She has studied from JNU Delhi. Formerly, she was Vice Principal and HOD Geography and also a professor in charge of MBA in AN College, Patna. She was involved in different academic activities such as she has organized 2 national seminars and many extramural lectures. 15 research papers were published on her name. Presently, 5 research scholars are pursuing their PhD under her supervision, and 3 scholars were awarded under her guidance. She was Program Officer of NSS for more than 6 years. She was also associated with NSS Swachhata Abhiyan, Plantation Program, Child Welfare Program, and Awareness Program in Slum, and so on. She also acted as coordinator IGNOU Study Center. Under her leadership, the Debt Study Center are flared up and became one of the best study center in Bihar. Now, Professor Purnima Sekhar Singh has become the director of newly established Center for Geographical Studies, Government of Bihar. Her experience will get this newly established Center for Geographical Studies to a great height. Now, our director, Purnima Sekhar Singh, is going to welcome speaker of today's web-based lecture series.
Good afternoon, everyone. We feel very elated to work together in the academic journey of webinar lecture series. In this difficult time, there was no option but to come online for academic parlance. So far, we have covered a little distance, but we have been able to bring quality presentation by different scholars from different corners of the country. Today, we have Professor Atul Aditya Pandey, HOD Geology, Patna Science College, Patna University, Patna. He is a man of deep learning. He has field specialization in sedimentology, remote sensing, and GIS. One student has been awarded PhD under his supervision, and 2 of them are in the advanced stage of their research. So far, he has published 5 full papers. There are 3 projects to his credit. One is ISRO-sponsored Morpho-Tectonic Evaluation of Kosi River Basin, Bihar, using remote sensing data. The second one is UGC-sponsored minor project, title being Geo-Environmental Appraisal of Kabar Lake. And the third one is sponsored by Ministry of Environment and Forest, Government of India. Title is Ganga River Basin Environment Management Plan. Geography is an interdisciplinary science for better understanding of the physical structure and the physical features of Earth. At times, it becomes essential to approach the mother discipline, that is geology. River Ganges is lifeline of the Gangetic Plain, and Bihar is a part of it. It is very important to understand hydrology of River Ganga. River hydrology depends upon the geology and geomorphic processes and features of the catchment area. Now, Professor Atul Aditya Pandey is going to speak on this topic. The topic is geomorphic characterization of River Ganga between Varanasi and Munger using remote sensing data. Now, Professor Atul Aditya Pandey, you are most welcome. And the source I hand hand over the session to you.
Thank you, Madam. First of all, I express my gratitude to the Director, Professor Dr. Purnima Shekhar Singh ji, who has given me this opportunity to present my research findings in front of the august audience, research scholars, honorable teachers and faculty members. And this presentation is basically evolved out of one project where Department of Geology, Patna University was also associated, rightly mentioned by Professor Singh, that Ministry of Environment and Forest, in the year 2012, there was a project of rejuvenation of the entire Gangetic Basin, where there were different areas where the technical part was being covered by different IITs. And this fluvial geomorphology of the entire river, that is Ganga, was being covered by Professor Rajiv Sinha from IIT Kanpur, and Patna University was also part of that project. So before I go into the details of the findings, I express my sincere thanks to Professor Sinha, Rajiv Sinha, who has guided us, and we were part of that program. As we all know that the river Ganga, it originates from Gomukh, Gangotri, and it meets Ganga Sagar in the Bay of Bengal. So entire length of the Ganga was divided into different segments, and different institutes and universities were involved for characterization of fluvial geomorphology of river Ganga. So JNU was handling the stretch of Ganges between Gomukh up to, say, Narora, then IIT Kanpur, from Narora to Kanpur, and then BHU was also involved, then Patna University and ISI Kolkata. So all these five major universities, we were involved, and the reports were compiled and handed over to the ministry, where different departments, the hydraulic part, the chemical, hydrological part, the hydrochemical data, investigations, everything has been compiled, and finally it is into a shape of being executed by the ministry. So with this background, I just present my findings in front of the August gathering. Select कर लेंगे. Is the screen visible, madam? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, madam, the screen is visible to you all?
Yes, your screen is visible.
Okay, then I start my presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as mentioned by Honorable Director, that the topic of my presentation is geomorphic characterization of river Ganga between Varanasi and Munger using remote sensing data. And I have mentioned earlier that the work under fluvial geomorphology group, we at the Patna University, 3 of the resource persons were involved. Dr. Ramesh Shukla, our retired professor and head, was leading the project. I was the co-investigator, and one Mr. Shankar Dayal, presently he is with the State Disaster Management Authority. He was our research fellow in the project. So before I go into the details of the stretch of river Ganges between Varanasi and Munger, there are certain issues which we must know, particularly the students and research scholars, that why actually we should have a very good data related to fluvial geomorphology. When we are talking about the health of the river system, then it's not only the flow of water, it's not only the chemical characteristics of the water, but the fluvial geomorphology plays very important role because the aquatic system, the ecosystem, everything is being governed and it affects the marine, freshwater ecosystem. So the integrated perspective of fluvial geomorphology is very, very critical to successful river rehabilitation and management. Because Ganges, as we all have witnessed, that it is in a very different shape now, and since last 25-30 years, we have been trying to rejuvenate the river Ganges and to make the river healthy. So when we have taken up this fluvial geomorphology, the approach of our project was to first describe the geomorphology of the segment that is entirely from Gomukh to Gangasagar. And how we are going to describe, we'll describe later on. And then when we describe the geomorphology, then we have to explain actually what we have witnessed and what we have observed. And finally, we have to predict that in times to come, if this is the situation, then what is going to be further if we don't do any activity to restore the Ganges. So when we talk about the river system...
May I just interrupt in between? Your presentation is not visible on the screen, Professor.
Okay, earlier it was visible, now?
No, it is not visible.
Okay, just madam, let me see. Just इसको पहले मिनिमाइज करके ओपन कर लीजिए, पहले मिनिमाइज करके प्रेजेंटेशन ले आइए, ठीक है? अब इंटायर स्क्रीन कर नहीं वहाँ इंटायर स्क्रीन करके आप उसमें जा करके हाँ अब उसमें वहाँ पे कर दीजिए। Is it visible now, madam?
Yeah, it is visible now.
Okay, so should I maximize it or is it?
Hello?
Yes, madam.
Yeah, it is visible now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, it's very good.
Okay. So this was the second slide, which I was discussing. That when we talk about the river system, we must have the comprehensive aspect of the river system, where ecology, hydrology, fluvial geomorphology, and now we have started talking about the eco-geomorphology, where ecosystem and how it interacts with the geomorphology. And they represent the integration of the three well-advanced disciplines at both spatial and temporal scale. The three segments, the interrelationships, like when we talk about the river system, there are certain engineering designs which we tame the river for our own benefit, for agriculture, for power, or for the irrigation. And the second aspect is about the fluvial geomorphology, where the flow of the river, the sediment regime, the channel form developed by the river with time, and the habitats which the river creates. And finally, the riverine ecology, where the riverine ecology means the river has its own space. So within the channel and also the floodplain habitats, both the units are taken into account. And when we talk about river management and highlight fluvial geomorphology, the different segments of fluvial geomorphology related is habitat and ecology. In-channel and floodplain characteristics which have a connectivity, and that represents fluvial dynamics. When the flow of the river during the flood time, we have a different state. When in the lean season, the water flows into a channel, but river performs its function within the floodplain and in channel. So habitat and ecology is related to fluvial geomorphology. The hydraulics and hydrology controls fluvial geomorphology because the climate or the terrain or the anthropogenic activities, it controls hydraulics and hydrology, which ultimately governs the morphological features which are developed in the river basin. The third aspect, which is very, very important in the case of Bihar, and we are talking about the huge sediment influx which we get from the Himalayan system, that is controlled by, again, tectonics. The Himalayas being very fragile system, we have the climatic changes, anthropogenic factors are also involved, where we talk about the deforestation and other aspects. Different landslide phenomenon, they contribute to the huge sediments into the Himalayan river system. And when we talk about the water quality or the nutrient flux, that is related to the erosion and the positional processes. The sediment carrying capacity of the river, the solute carrying capacity of the river, they are all governed by fluvial geomorphology and they are interrelated. So the water quality is also dependent upon the sediment flux. So why so much of importance we are giving to fluvial geomorphology is that the health of the river is beautifully analyzed when we analyze and we obtain the data related to geomorphology. So as now all of us can see that when we talk about fluvial geomorphology, it not only controls the hydrology of the sediment flux, but the nutrient and quality of water and also the ecology and habitat. So this was the basic background on which the fluvial geomorphology part of the Ganga river system was taken up to restore and make the river healthy during the Ganga Action Plan. This is the landmass of India, and this is just to show you that in the northern part we have a huge Himalayan system, the store of the abode of snow, and the perennial rivers. We have Ganges, the Yamuna, and the other rivers system, which contributes to the huge volume of water and also sediment to the Gangetic system. So when we take Indo-Gangetic full basin, it's a huge drainage area. The river length is almost around 2,500 kilometers, and the average annual discharge calculated is around 7,500 cubic meter per second. And the annual suspended and dissolved load of the river is around 100 million tons. We have a great variability in the landscape diversity. We have the Himalayan river system, we have the Himalaya system in the north, and the Cratonic part in the south. So the tributaries of river Ganges, the Son, Vitwa, Chambal, Yamuna, and other Kyul and other smaller rivers, they join from the Cratonic part. They have their own characteristics. The other rivers coming from the north, the Gandak, Kosi, Ghagara, Gomti, and other rivers, they are draining from the north. So the catchment variability of the Gangetic system makes very different, and the landscape diversity affects the geomorphology of the river system. So the fluvial geomorphology group, the basic task was for the preparation and compilation of geomorphic map of the Ganga river and classification of the reaches in terms of their geomorphic condition. Reaches means when we observe the river system through the remote sensing data, different length of the system, we have found that they behave in a different manner. They have their own identity. They have their own geomorphic system. So we have to identify these stretches where river behaves in a similar fashion. The second aspect was to map the pattern of the river dynamics at different reaches and to understand the causative factors also, that why in one area we have a huge floodplain of the river, in certain areas river is flowing in a single channel. Then nowadays we talk about the stream power distribution of the river system, because the stream power will be very much effective in shaping the landform in different areas within the system, within the river channel and also outside. The geomorphological part, it was also taken into account to determine the effects of river energy and sediment supply. Because whatever we have the energy associated with the river, the morphological part and the sediment association depends on it, which controls the channel morphology. To assess the hydrological, geomorphological and ecological relationship, to develop a tool for monitoring river health and sustainable river management based on river style framework. River style framework, basically it is a concept, it was a concept derived by Friars and Brierley in Australian river system. Though the river system in Australia, they don't have such a large magnitude which the Ganges system has, but we have followed the concept given by Brierley. And finally, to define the environmental flows of different reaches on the basis of geomorphic conditions. Before we go into the details of the geomorphology of the Ganga between Varanasi and Munger, which is my presentation, I am giving this information to the students and the viewers that when we talk about idealized view of a river scape, as you can see, river starts from its headwaters where it has its own, because river has to maintain its connectivity, whether it is a longitudinal connectivity which is related to its flow. We have the lateral connectivity which depends upon the discharge and the volume of water which is passing through the channel, and also the vertical profile of the river system. When the longitudinal, lateral and vertical connectivity is maintained in an ideal fashion, then we say that river is healthy and river is maintaining its function in a natural way. So the river starts from headwaters where the different, maybe if we are talking about the Gangetic system, the glaciers, their meltwater, they are supporting the flow of the channel. Then we have the montane floodplain, then Piedmont floodplain. When river enters from the Himalayan areas to the floodplain, the Piedmont valleys are created. And when passing through the plain areas, finally river meets the coastal areas and deltas and estuaries, different geomorphological features are formed. So if this sort of system where the lateral, the vertical and longitudinal connectivity is maintained, then we say that the river is a healthy river. So river style framework explains the mutual linkages between the river forms and the geomorphic processes within a specific zone in the river. And as mentioned earlier, the river style framework provides a physical basis to describe and explain within a catchment distribution of river forms and processes, and also to predict future river behavior. When we talk about the river style framework, we have to consider 5 different aspects as per the scale. The first is the catchment scale, the entire catchment of the river basin. The second is the landscape at a particular site, what is actually the landscape and how river has transformed or it has been affected by the landscape. Third is the reach. Reach means the particular length of the river where it has its own function and it is having its own identity. Then the fourth is geomorphic features or identity. River is having its different identity geomorphologically at certain different locations. And then hydraulics also, because different tributaries, they join river system. Sometimes river passes in a single channel, sometimes different. So in case of Ganga, we will see later on that how these different aspects, that is catchment, landscape, reach, geomorphic and hydraulics, they affect the geomorphology. So the catchment scale is related to the geologic setting and the climatic condition over the entire catchment. When we say about the landscape setting, it defines the large-scale landforms that directly impact the processes which are operative in different reaches of the river system. And river reaches, they are the stretches over which the basic riverine processes are more or less uniform. And river styles are basically identified and interpreted at the reach scale using valley setting. Valley setting we'll see later on that what will be the fluctuation of the river within a valley. So valley setting is very important, and the assemblage of geomorphic units within the valley. So geomorphic units and their sedimentology is defined for both the channel and the floodplain of the river in our presentation, which we'll see later on. Within the geomorphic units, homogeneous sets of flow type and substrate define the hydraulic units that are used to interpret aquatic habitat patches along the river. And in order to characterize the stretches of Ganga River and divide it into geomorphologically significant and distinctive portions, the guidelines outlined in the river style framework that was given by Brierley and Friars in Australia that we have used. And the river style framework has a nested top-down approach. Top-down approach as means from the catchment scale going on to the reach scale and finally the river style scale. So river style framework has a nested top-down approach and is arranged in a 3 key scales. The 3 key scales are landscape or the valley setting. Landscape setting is readily identifiable on the remote sensing images from topographic features with a characteristic pattern of landforms through which the river flows. In the Ganga river system, there are 5 landscape units and physiographic character. We'll see later on. The landscape setting, we have the Himalayan bedrocks because the Ganga originates in the Gangotri. We have the Bhagirathi and Alaknanda, which they join together at the confluences at Deoprayag. So Himalayan bedrocks, they have their own identity. The Piedmont, when the river is leaving the Himalayan terrain. So Piedmont, a terrain close to the mountain front, as the river leaves the mountainous terrain and enters the plain. And in the plain part, the alluvial valley. So, for example, in Bihar, we are into the alluvial valley, that is an alluvial plain where the river flows through its own alluvium. The second aspect is the Creton margin. I have talked earlier that the Creton margin, the southern part of the Indo-Gangetic system, where the major rivers, they are contributing the sediments and water. So a low-lying plain where the river is flowing through an area that is flanked or underlain partly by the Indian Cretonic basement rock and partly by its own alluvium. And valley interflow, when the river flows through an alluvial terrain that has been deposited in the interflow region of the 2 major river valleys. For example, if I say in Bihar, we have Gandak and Kosi, and the area in between we have the interflows. So Gandak and Kosi, Fan, interflow. So there are different aspects where 2 or other river system, when they have their own identity, and there is a mix-up of the activities of the 2 major river systems. Then the fan interfan. We know that when in the Himalayan system, the river is coming out of the hilly terrain, and finally when it is coming to the plain areas, the huge amount of sediment gets dispersed and they form the fan. And in between the 2 fans, we have the interfan. So fan interfan, when the river emerges from the mountain front and flows out onto a more gently sloping plain, resulting into a distinct landform called fan. For example, Kosi, mega fan, we talk about Kosi as a mega fan. It's the world's largest continental alluvial mega fan. In Bihar, we have Gandak fan, we have the Kosi fan, Kosi mega fan. And Badland is another aspect where particularly the Yamuna system in the Chambal and other areas. This is typical for the Yamuna and Chambal rivers that flow through the Vindhyans, creating ravines. We also think about the channel confinement when the river is flowing into a valley, whether it is confined. Confined means on the left and the right bank, whether it is confined within the channel or it is partly confined. Partly confined means on the right side, river is confined, but on the left side, it has the capacity to spread laterally. So we'll see, for example, in Patna, I will show you into the through the remote sensing data and photographs also, that in Patna we talk about partly confined, because the Ashok Rajpath, where the right hand side we have the natural levees, here we have confinement, but when we go towards the northern part, the river is not so confined, so the spread of water in the northern side is much more. And sometimes we talk about unconfined areas where the river may, during the monsoonal flow, it may spread on both the flanks. So the valleys, when they are confined, the floodplain is the resultant of those, and floodplain may also be confined or partly confined or unconfined depending upon the development of the floodplain in the area. So with this background, I just wanted to highlight that why we are going into so much of details before the analysis of the geomorphic condition of Ganga River from Varanasi to Munger. This is because we are not only going to characterize that river is having such much, this much of this length, it is having this much of this width or depth, but we have to think in terms of the features which are developed. And then we have to explain actually as to why that particular feature is developed over there, and we can also predict that in years to come, if this is the condition, if the sediment flux is this much, what will be the further position, if the hydraulics is being shifted from one place to another, the climatic change which is there, which we are observing, the meltwater contribution, the monsoonal contribution, everything takes into account when we talk about the geomorphic condition. So this is the entire Gangetic Basin, and we can see that when we talk about the landscape classes, the first one is Himalayan hinterland. Himalayan hinterland, which may be in the western part of the basin and also in the eastern part. So in the northwestern part, this is the Himalayan areas, maybe in the Garhwal Himalayas and so, and in the eastern part, that is the Nepal and other areas. So Himalayan areas. The second landscape unit is the Cratonic hinterland. Cratonic part, the southern part with the Vindhyan plateau and other areas. The third is the northern plains. Northern plains, the Gangetic, the northern plains developed in the western part and in the eastern part. And the southern plains also again into the western and eastern, and the green color, as you can see, is the lower Ganga plains and the deltaic part of the Gangetic river system. So this was just a background, and when we talk about the remote sensing data, so during the process, Landsat data were used to delineate the geomorphological features, and floodplain mapping approach was followed. We have used AVIS data, Advanced Wide Field Sensor data of 432 combination Landsat data, and the AVIS data was processed to generate the Tesselt cap and the default coefficient. ERDAS was the software used, and ArcGIS were used for carrying out other activities. So the river style hierarchy as proposed by Brierley and Frias is that we start from the landscape, we pass on to the valley setting, the channel confinement, the floodplain foundation, active floodplain width to valley width ratio. These are the features which we will calculate. We will see the symmetry of the valley, and then the bar percentage. Bar percentage in the hierarchy is very important, because in between the river we are having huge development of sandbars. The alluvial islands are developed within the channel system. So based on the observation of the remotely sensed data, we will try to develop a database with respect to landscape setting, where we will talk about whether it is a bedrock Himalayan or a bedrock Cratonic or a valley interfluve or fan interfluve, or whether it is an alluvial valley fill or a badland. Because earlier we have seen that these are the landscape setting for the Gangetic system. Then the second aspect is the valley setting. Valley setting, we will have to see that whether the valley setting is bedrock or whether it is alluvial, or whether it is a combination of alluvial and bedrock transition. We will see that when we pass on to the Munger area, we have the alluvial bedrock transition. Then average valley width we will calculate, average valley width based on the remotely sensed data. If it is less than 1 kilometer, we have given it a terminology as very narrow. Then if it is between 1 and 3 kilometers, it is narrow. And when the valley setting is more than 35 kilometers, we say that geomorphologically it is a very wide valley. Then the third point is channel confinement. As discussed earlier, whether the channel is confined, flowing within a one valley, or whether it is a partly confined, one side is confined, other side is not so confined, or whether it is unconfined, whether it is having the river is free of shifting its position from one end to another. Then active floodplain characteristics, active floodplain width we will calculate, and we will see what is the relationship between the valley width and the floodplain. And within the channel characteristics, some morphometric parameters have been calculated, whether the sinuosity of the river or the braid channel ratio, because we know that the rivers, when they pass through different geomorphological features, braided channel, anastomosis channel, sinuous channel also. So we have to see. Then channel width and the area on the remote sensing data we have calculated, bar types and areas. This is very significant because when we have observed the river system, the bar types, whether it is a point bar or a lateral bar or a mid-channel bar, the huge amount of sand which is accumulated after the flood season, we have seen that in Patna, we have in the northern part the huge alluvial island, which goes on changing its position and through time. So channel-based geomorphic features, meander parameters for the flow of the river system, that is helpful, radius of curvature or the meander axial wavelength, these are calculated on the remotely sensed data. So yes, with this background, that why we are doing geomorphology, how we are doing geomorphology, and within a particular segment, what are our observations for the river system. So this is a Landsat data of 2010, and in the left part, you can see that the red point is the Varanasi, and when we move towards the eastern part, we have the extreme eastern part, we have this Munger. So the Patna University was given the task to study the river Ganges from Varanasi to Munger. And as you can see, when we talk about the river from Varanasi to Munger, in between, we have from the northern side, for the flow northwest-southeast direction, we have the Ghagara, then we have the Gandak. From the northern side, finally, we also have the Kosi, but Kosi meets at Kursela, further east of Munger. And from the southern side, you can see this is Son. So major river is Son. There are other rivers also joining from the southern side, the Kyul and other river systems. So this is a entire stretch of the river Ganga, and we can appreciate the river having its own identity because this part of the river system is having major rivers, the tributaries contributing into the flow of the river. Now, you can see, I'm again going back, based on the length of the river and the geomorphological features which we have discussed earlier, we have subdivided the entire length of the river system from Varanasi to Munger in between different stretches. And these stretches we are talking about the reaches. So first you can see that from Varanasi to Buxar, up till Buxar, further east, the river is a single lace. There is no major tributary joining the river system, and river is having a wider valley. The shaded areas which are represented here, they are signifying the valley. And within the valley, you can see that sometimes the river is flowing at the one extreme margin of the valley, but based on the geomorphological features, based on the typical features or identity, the valley margins have been fixed. So the shaded area actually represents the floodplain, whether it is your valley of floodplain or whether it is the current floodplain, but these features are marked. Then from Buxar up to Patna, you can see that the river is having a very distinct identity. The floodplain is wide enough, and we have a major contribution of Ghadra, the Son, and the Gandak. And the wider floodplains here nearby Ara, from Buxar to Ara, the southern part, you can see that these are the meander scrolls. So meandering of the river was very, very prominent in these areas. Presently, the river is flowing within this channel, but the shifting of the river valley, the river is performing its function from the north to south, or you can say from the right to left. So it is having a very wide river valley, and major river system, they are contributing to the Gangetic system over here. Then further east, we have the Gandak joining near Patna, east of Patna, and this part I was talking about. This is a huge riverine island which is developed in Patna, and this is the alluvial island, which is, as we can understand, that the flow of the river, the energy condition of the river, the energy condition, and the sediment input, and the slope, valley slope. These are all the controlling factors which have given rise to particular set of geomorphological features in this part. And when we move further east from Bar to Munger, again you see that there is no major river system contributing to this Ganges. Sediment input is also not high. Few rivers, they are joining from the southern side. This is Kyul river here, this is joining, and this is Munger. And Munger, as you can see, the river takes the northern bend, and this is due to the geomorphological features which is developed by the projection of the Kharagpur hills over here. So here we have the bedrock and valley interaction, interrelationship. So this is the stretch of the entire river system from Varanasi to Munger, where we have subdivided it into different units based on the typical features and identity of the Gangetic river system which it has maintained. And now what we will do, that we will try to categorize and we will try to develop a database. We will try to quantify the stretch of the river in between Varanasi and Munger. So now, based on the geomorphological features observed on the image, you can see that if we have to characterize the river between Varanasi and Chhapra, we have characterized as the valley interflow, unconfined. The river is performing its function from one end to another. Floodplain. Floodplain is a wider floodplain the river is having, and sinuous. The behavior of the river is sinuous, as we can see. So this is a typical feature which is we have observed from Varanasi to Chhapra or here and valley interflow, valley setting as alluvial, and channel confinement, the river is in an unconfined state. This is from further east, where the valley is interflow, the valley is alluvial, the channel confinement is unconfined, and floodplain boundation is confined. The floodplain is in between the marked, the dotted line, which we can see on the image. This photograph is taken just to show this is from Patna. This is the right hand, the margin of the river system, where we have the natural levee. And just when we see the northern part, this is the Hajipur and other areas. So here the river is free to spread its and perform function during the floodplain. So this I was talking about the partly confined state of the river system. Then further east, we move, we have these pink dots and other areas also. These are the sandbars which are developed within the river system. And here we have again valley interflow, valley setting is alluvial, the channel confinement is partly confined, and the floodplain foundation is unconfined. This is unconfined position. When we further move east, we have the wider valley of the Gangetic system. So further east, we see that the river is having again a sinuosity is there, and these smaller lines, these are the meandering and the meander sprawls which are observed and taken into account to develop the geomorphology of the system between this particular area. Here, the landscape setting is Craton margin. Craton margin because this part, Munger part, the projection of the ancient rock masses, the Kharagpur Hills is projecting over here, and that's why the river is taking a different shape. So here we have the alluvial valley and the Craton interrelationship. Valley setting is alluvial and bedrock, channel confinement is partly confined, and floodplain foundation is partly confined. This is a photograph taken from Munger Ghat, and this is something which we can appreciate that from the entire stretch, from Mirzapur in the further west, you can see at Mirzapur there are projections of Vindhyan into the Ganges, but from Mirzapur up till Munger, there is no projection of the ancient sand masses and bedrocks into the river system. So this is the newer the geomorphological feature or interaction of the bedrocks and the valley setting. This is again the photograph taken at Munger. And yes, now when we have divided the Gangetic system into the 4 major segments from Varanasi to further east Munger, within the channel now, within the reach, we have to develop a particular style of the river. Style of the river means at a particular, within the reach, river is performing its typical feature in a different way. Maybe the in-channel floodplain is having some typical identity. The flow of the river, the valley setting. So as you can see that these green marks which are taken into account, we have R67, R68, R69. These are different river styles within the system over here. Further east, and different typical data which I will show you, it has been developed and calculated to develop energetic condition. So this is further east, this is Sultanganj and Kursela. This is a photograph taken at Bhagalpur, which is further east of Munger. Now, I was talking about the characterization of the river. Now you can see based on the remote sensing data and treatment of the data with respect to GIS, these data it has been obtained. That for segment 1 we have valley interflow, the valley setting as alluvial, the channel confinement is unconfined, the floodplain foundation is unconfined, the floodplain valley width ratio is 1:1.24, the channel type is sinuosity value we have obtained, the break channel ratios are taken into account, bar percentage, the sandbars which are developed within the channel, how much that particular reach with respect to water and sand, what is the ratio. So you can see that in the second area, the sandbar ratio is going up around the 80%. So major area in that stretch is the sandbars. The alluvial islands are responsible for that. So this part was for the Gangetic river system, but as I have discussed earlier, that the Son and the Gandak and the Ghadra, they are the major tributaries and contributing huge amount of sediment into the system. So we have also taken the particular stretch of Son and Gandak and Ghadra also to define its characteristics, its geomorphological feature. So this is the geomorphological map developed for the Son river. Here also we have calculated so many data regarding the channel length or the tributaries or the active floodplain, like that. This is for the east Son, and here this is Ara and Maner. Here Son is meeting river Ganges. So the Son is having its own identity, which have been categorized into different features. We have point bar, we have alluvial island, we have sidebars, so these morphological features are defined again on the basis of the energy condition, the sediment input, the slope of the area, the gradient of the valley, like So after Son, this is the Ghagara River coming from the northern side, and this is the Gandak, again characterized on the basis of geomorphological features. We have the Valmiki Nagar Barrage over here, and these are the huge alluvial islands and sandbars, huge in between the alluvial sandbars in the Gandak system. So this will be my second last slide. This, if it is visible to you all, though the figures are not so, you can see that starting from Gomukh in the top left-hand corner, starting from Gomukh, these rivers, the Ganga river system, coming down up to this Farakka barrage, it is shown with respect to different colors. And these colors, they are identifying different characteristics of the river valley. And from here in the table, it is shown that what is the typical geomorphological character of the river from this position to this position and further downstream. So based on the geomorphological features, as I told you earlier, that the hydrology part, the chemical, the water chemistry part, the biodiversity part, different units, different groups, they have worked together, and the data, it has been synthesized and it has been analyzed that if this is the geomorphological condition, what was the energy condition, what is the hydrology, what is the ecosystem, what is the biodiversity, and based on the data obtained, now the process is, now the government and the ministry is in the process of making the river, rejuvenating the river in its earlier form. So there are a lot of activities going on, and so this was my last presentation. Thank you all of you, and as I told earlier that our team worked under the guidance of Dr. Rajiv Sinha, who was the team leader, and the entire stretch of Ganga river system from the Gomukh to Ganga Sagar, Farakka Barrage, it has been calculated. So thank you all of you. Now I end here, and over to you, madam.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Now anybody who is having any question can come forward.
Hello.
Nobody?
Anyone who has any doubt or any question or any explanation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, even
Please.
suggestions
Come
are
forward.
most welcome.
Please come
Even
forward.
suggestions are most welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
Actually, madam, the concept of this fluvial geomorphology is new to our country now. Most of the river systems are being defined on the basis of this river style framework, and whatever the health of the river system is to be taken into account, now it will be governed by this model.
Yeah, fine. You are really true in stating this fact. But we as geographers, we study this fluvial geomorphology in our geography,
Yes.
though few
Yes.
things are very new, and since you incorporated the remote sensing, very teenable, and it's very, your explanation was very lucid and very easy. So now I invite Swasti Vardhan Mishra to come and present the highlights of the lecture. Swasti?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there.
Yeah, Swasti, come forward.
Thank you, ma'am, for this, for allowing me to wrap up this session. And Professor Pandey and the team and the whole team needs a specific and a very very broad-hearted applaud for this project, which is in fact a very means a very for a longer duration, very much for a larger stretch. So with what Professor Singh started, the geology is geography's mother discipline. So it is in fact a very true idea that we have studied geology as one of the things in geomorphology. And the way Professor Pandey has explained geomorphology in a different dimension, it is something that we as geographers and geomorphologists need to take into account. So the way he started means the stretch between Varanasi and Munger. So where he brought in all the how the engineering design, civil geomorphology and river ecology conflict to define the very much the characteristics of the river is something that is missing in geomorphology in one of the other senses. So this is something new that we as geographers have learned. So he also talked about the huge sediment flow between Patna and the how the health of the river is something that needs to be judged through geomorphology, and that can be done in a very lucid and a very fantastic way. So what is the basic idea? The basic idea that we can draw from this presentation or draw from this complete project is how this river ridge can be classified, how this hydraulic, how these fluvial floodplain can be classified. How the most important thing is how this river ridge has been classified into different sections from Varanasi to say it was from Varanasi to Buxar, from Buxar to Patna and henceforth. So this stretch of the river ridge, how it is divided. Then at the end of the lecture, he gives how from the Gomukh to the Farakka barrage is divided into different sections, into different segments of the river form. And the project also as an annexure included the characteristics of the tributaries like Gandak, Kosi and Ghagra. So this in fact is a very complete project, and we are very much thankful to Professor Pandey for giving such a lucid, such a self-explanatory presentation to us. And we have benefited a lot from your presentation, sir, and hope to read this project in some article or in book form in days to come. Thank you, sir.
Just a second, I just want to request Professor Atul Pandey.
Yes,
I got a late question from the audience. Some Anukritika Raj. I don't know whether he or she, I'm not able to decipher from the name. But the question is that, sir, how is E-flow estimation will be benefited from this study? Can you please elucidate?
Yes, the ultimate objective of this entire exercise, that is fluvial geomorphology or the estimation of water quality or biodiversity, that is for understanding and calculation of the E-flow. Because when we talk about the health of the river system, that E-flow is to be maintained. Unless and until we have the environmental flow of the river, we are not going to say that river is in a healthy state. So the biodiversity, the chemistry, the hydrology, the geomorphology, and the other features, the tectonics, the climatic, the influence which is there, and the anthropogenic factors which are responsible, that will be very, very helpful, this geomorphological feature which we have developed to understand the.
Thank you so much. Now I ask Kanchan to propose a vote of thanks for such a wonderful lecture,
No, I'm really thankful to Madam because I've been able to present the research findings amongst the students and research scholars of our state, and also
it's a wonderful sharing of your knowledge and your research with our students and with our teachers. I think there's one more question. Mr. Pandey, there's one more question from Neeraj.
Yes, ma'am.
He has asked, and my question is, in last decades, the river Ganga shifted its course away from Patna. What can be possible regions?
I have already given the explanation that we have a valley setting of the river. The shifting of river within the valley is nothing new. But with respect to time, with respect to climate change, with respect to anthropogenic factors, the flow of the river, the sediment contribution, they are all responsible for shifting of the river from one end to another. So the major problem within this stretch of the river is the huge amount of sediment. So sediment management is very important if we wish to keep the river confined within or adjacent to the Patna.
Good afternoon, everyone. I, on behalf of this center, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to the Honorable Speaker, Professor Atul Aditya Pandey, HOD Geology, Patna Science College, Patna University, Patna, who blessed us with his presence and took out valuable time of his busy schedule. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for the speaker for his explanation on the topic. We are all inspired by his great words. I would like to thank all our great scholars and invitees for joining our webinar. Finally, I would like to thank our director, Professor Purnima Shekhar Singh, for her enthusiastic support in organizing such web-based lecture series in the Center for Geographical Studies. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, sir.